Three investor routes all lead to permanent residency, but they are not equal. One is super risky, one barely makes sense for anyone, and there is one that is the clear play. I'm Caleb with Base in Paraguay. Our team is on the ground right now working with investors on this in real time. And today I'm going to rank all three and tell you what we actually recommend to investors currently. In quick context, if you haven't seen the full breakdown, I made a video about that. Paraguay released the Investor Pass in April 2026. This is super brand new. And in summary, there's three routes that allow you to skip temporary residency and go straight to permanent residency by investment. There's tourism for 150K, there's the stock market at 200K, and real estate at 200K. And today I'm going to rank them all for you. And also, by the way, if you are seriously looking at this and curious which path fits your situation, book a strategy call. Link is in the description. All right, let's start with the worst. Number 3, tourism. Now, 150K, it is the lowest price tag, and that might make it sound like the best deal, but that is not true because this is not just a passive investment. You can't just throw in your 150K and say this is an eco project and half-ass the delivery. You need a real tourism project and a real business plan, and it has to be compliant. You have to follow up with authorities. There is a lot that goes into this. It's not just throw in 150K and get a residency, okay? On top of that, there is no approved project list yet, which means there's no formal definition of what actually qualifies, and there's no minimum holding period. So your business plan that you invest your time and money into is not guaranteed anyways. So the track with the lowest entry also has the highest uncertainty. And here's the part that gets me. For just $50,000 more, that can go towards real estate where you can actually own a tangible income producing asset. So yeah, you're saving 50K with the tourism route, but you're taking on more complexity, way more uncertainty, and more ongoing obligations with a lot of compliance and headaches along the way. Now, who is this actually for? If you genuinely have an interest in developing a tourism project here in Paraguay, I'm talking eco lounge, a hotel concept, genuine tourism, then great. This path can provide you with something very nice. But for everyone else, skip it. The savings alone are not worth the headache. All right, number 2, financial instruments. $200,000 in the stock market. On paper, looks pretty clean. No property to manage, no tenants, no maintenance. You just put 200K into the Asuncion stock exchange, the Bolsa de Valores, or BVA for short, and you get your permanent residency. Now, to be fair, the BVA has been running and powered on NASDAQ-powered infrastructure since January 2026. And Paraguay's also recently gotten investment grade status for Moody's and S&P. So this is a real exchange with real institutional backing. That part is not up for question. But there are problems, and this is what no one is telling you. First, Paraguayan deposit protection only covers up to about 30,000 US dollars. That means on a 200K investment, only $30,000 of your investment is actually protected. That's $170,000 of unprotected capital, which means if something goes wrong with the institution holding your money, you're exposed on 85% of your investment. Second, the minimum holding period is 2 years. Now, this is a new development, but from what we're hearing on the ground, you can't assume that you can just withdraw after 2 years because reinvestment into another qualifying structure may be required, and that's currently in development. Your money may not be that liquid. Third, source of funds. Sepralab, which is Paraguay's financial intelligence unit, is watching foreign capital close, super close right now. The KYC and AML scrutiny on this route is especially intense at the moment, which means it's not just enough to have the money. Your source of funds, your payment route, your beneficial ownership, all of it needs to be cleanly documented and explainable. On top of that, banks and the Casa de Bolsas will run their own compliance checks too. So there will be lots and lots of compliance friction that you will need to navigate. Fourth, the specific financial instruments that qualify for this are still not clear. Equities, bonds, ETFs, funds, we don't have clarity on that yet. So essentially you're deploying 200K into a frontier market with limited deposit protection, unclear withdrawal terms, intense compliance scrutiny, and undefined qualifying instruments. Now, who is this for? Someone with a bulletproof compliance profile, clean and well-documented source of funds, and a genuine comfort with frontier markets and products, and a huge tolerance for risk, which can be a narrow audience. For most investors, this route carries too many unknowns and a little too much counterparty risk. All right, number 1, real estate. $200,000, same entry as the financial instrument option, but instead of a number on a screen, you own a physical asset in a market on its way up. And here's exactly why our team is recommending this route right now. $200,000 in Asuncion gives you real leverage. I'm talking a significant property, a large apartment in a premium neighborhood, a commercial unit generating income, multiple smaller units. The purchasing power here is not comparable at all to what you would get in, let's say, the US or Europe. You have leverage here. Now, note, nuance with this path. The property does need to have economic value. This is a new development. Purely buying property just to live in likely does not qualify. But this is actually a benefit in disguise because that means rental income, Airbnb income, commercial leases, development. You're not just parking capital with all risk on, you're building a revenue generating asset while also getting permanent residency. And from what our team is seeing, you only need a minimum 30% down payment on the property itself, and that can serve as a proof of investment at the time of filing, which means you don't necessarily need the full $200K on day one. But of course, that's depending on how the purchase is structured. Additionally, title check, contract structure, payment evidence, banking route, source of funds, documentation, all of this needs to be handled professionally and seamlessly, because a poorly reviewed property or an unclear payment flow can weaken the entire application. But this is solvable, and this is exactly what our team does. And once the property is set up and it's managed, your residency can run in the background. And all you have to do to maintain your permanent residency is visit Paraguay once every 3 years. At the same time, your property generates income. You can perhaps recoup funds if you sell some of your property, generate income on the other units, for example. You have a lot of flexibility and upside with this option, which is why it's such a fundamentally different setup than parking your $200K into a financial instrument that only gives you up to $30,000 of deposit protection. Now, I'm not going to pretend that the real estate option is 100% risk-free, because that would be stupid. The Paraguay real estate market is an early stage market that comes with all the risks, and it comes with a lot of inconsistency too. One, construction is a huge part in that. The construction standards vary. Some developers cut corners, and liquidity is low, so you can't just fix and flip fast. I talk about this in my real estate video, link in the description below, but it's not all cupcakes and rainbows. There are challenges to navigate here in the local Paraguay real estate market. Additionally, gringo pricing is real, and if you don't have a local team to vouch for you, you're going to get screwed over. But of course, all of this is solvable with proper due diligence and a local team handling it on the ground here for you. So don't try to do this yourself. You're going to get screwed. Which brings us to the broader point that the other two routes, the tourism route, the financial route, these have structural problems. Structurally, the ROI is not favorable at the moment. The real estate route, on the other hand, has execution problems. The ROI can be very favorable, but it depends on your execution. So that is the ranking. Tourism at the bottom because of too much uncertainty and too many operational requirements for only $50,000 in savings. Financial instruments in the middle, number 2. Clean concept, but real risks around deposit protection, withdrawal terms, and compliance scrutiny. And real estate at the top. Tangible assets, potential income generating, real but manageable risks, and clearly the cleanest path to permanent residency and real returns. Now lastly, to be fully transparent, the implementing regulations for the Investor Pass are still being finalized. So specific qualifying criteria within each path can still change. And what I just shared is based on official announcements here, as well as our local intelligence on the ground tracking this in real time. And of course, we'll do a follow-up when more finalized regulations have been published. So if you are considering this route, here's what I'd suggest. Do not deploy capital right now. Wait for the final clarity, which is coming very soon. But start your apostolized documents today, because your birth certificate and police certificate take time. They can take up to months. So you want to be ready to move the moment the regulations drop. And additionally, if you do want to know whether the real estate route or any of the other routes fits your situation, specifically your capital, your source of funds, your timeline, your nationality, this is exactly what our strategy calls are for. We will review your case and tell you exactly what path looks like and set you up so by the time things are ready to go, you are ready to go and get your foot in the door before anyone else as an early mover. The link is in the description for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.